Hello mountain bike friends. So in this video I'm going to share with you my experience preparing for a long distance mountain bike event called the Archipelago here in San Diego that occurs once a year. But you can still use this video even if you're not in San Diego, but you're just doing a long distance mountain biking event. Now the Archipelago it's pretty challenging. Last year it was much more challenging. This year they made it a little bit easier, user-friendly, but it still required a lot of training and endurance. So in this video I'll be going over 4 things that I did that made the ride considerably easier for me. Now this is not a race event. My primary goal was to ride comfortably so that I could enjoy the event, I could enjoy the scenery, the food, my friends, and it worked out really well. I was able to really just have a pleasant ride without feeling like I was going to die. So some of these things may help you, some of them may not. It's worth checking them out if you have some time. So the first one was Zone 2 training, and I made a video 2 months ago going into depth about my experience with Zone 2 training. I put a link down below if you're interested in that. But it's been 2 years now that I've been doing Zone 2 training, mostly with my road bike while concurrently riding my mountain bike. And it has helped dramatically in terms of increasing my low speed. So it doesn't increase my high speed necessarily, but it does increase my low speed. I don't need to take as many breaks. My recovery time is much faster afterwards. So I'm not shy when it comes to training because I know I could go to work the next day, do whatever I have to do, or ride the next day. And so I really do recommend Zone 2 training. Again, the link is down below. The second thing that I did was change my tires. So I usually run Maxxis double down aggressors in the back and EXO and DHF in the front. And it's been a good combination. But I think I saw a video with Sid and Mackie where they talked about, they do a lot of long distance mountain bike events. And so they talked about getting the, I'm not sure if it was the Arden, but it was a race tire. So I used the Arden race tire by Maxxis with 3C EXO protection. And I used it both in the front and the back for my training for the Archipelago and the actual event. And honestly, going into it, I was really afraid that they were going to puncture. I ride relatively rough, and I use the term relative with emphasis because I'm not like a pro rider or anything. And but yeah, they held out really well, no punctures whatsoever, and the grip was surprisingly really good. It wasn't like my usual setup, but for chunky descents, things like that, I was able to maintain control really well. And now for areas that were loose, they did slip out a little bit easier. I had to put my foot down a couple of times. And also, if you try these tires, make sure you have a good level of understanding of when to use your front brakes. Because if you're not using the front brakes well, like for example, you're using it in turns, you're probably going to lose your front wheel easier than you would otherwise. But it made a dramatic difference. Climbs became much more doable. I was able to do the majority of climbs without getting off the bike. There was only one climb that I got off the bike for this new Archipelago ride. So tires, they make a big difference. Rolling resistance. It's going from an aggressor double down to a race tire. You could definitely feel it. I think I was at least 30% more efficient in my riding, climbing. The next thing that I did, now this is something that I recommend you do with medical supervision, especially if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. Now I use a continuous glucose monitor and I was very careful with it. And that is to do glucose loading immediately after the ride. So after a strenuous event, you have a 30-minute window where that sugar is easily absorbed into the muscle and stored as glycogen as opposed to being shunted into fat. And so I made my own recovery drink using dextrose, protein, and probiotics. And so as soon as I got done with the ride, I take a bottle of that powder that I mixed together, another bottle of water, mix it and drink it. And looking at the blood sugar readings from my sensor, blood sugar would spike really quickly. Within 5 minutes, it would drop back down to 90 to 100. And that really helped me recover faster. I could go riding again the next day and not feel bad, not feel tired. And also, when you have enough glycogen stores in your body, mentally, you're much more motivated to go work out the next day. If you're in a glycogen depleted state, it's kind of interesting. Your mind just says, no, there's a lot more resistance you have to go through. So mentally, physically, the glycogen replenishing really helped quite a bit. Now, it's counterintuitive, but along with the glycogen loading, I also started calorie restricting. Now, I'm going to make a video about this. I think it would require its own video to go into depth, but I've always dreaded caloric restriction because it's just such a pain to count the number of calories. And but there's an app, MyFitnessPal, something like that. I'll put that in the video. I had tried it 10 years ago and I really hated it because it took so long to get the calorie counts. But in those 10 years, they've really advanced it. It's so much easier to find the calories for fast food or restaurants. I think they even started using machine learning where you take a picture of your plate and it's able to somewhat calculate the number of calories based off what it sees. And I anticipate that that's going to become more advanced as time progresses. But it became a lot easier. After I had changed the tires, I started calorie restricting before the Archipelago event. And by the time the event rolled around, I had lost about 8 pounds. And that by itself also made a big difference. So my frame is relatively small. So if I gain a little bit of weight, I deal with things like prediabetes, sleep apnea. So my body really can't handle weight very well. Genetically, I just can't. So by losing that weight, my sleep improved, my concentration has improved. Even when I meditate, it's a lot deeper than it was before. And then the mountain biking, the climbing is just at another level. After I finished the Archipelago, I went back to my usual tire setup, and the climbing is still really easy. I'm still losing weight. My target goal is about 2 pounds away, so hopefully within a week or so I'll reach a steady state. But yeah, so those measures dramatically made the Archipelago long distance mountain bike ride a lot easier. So just going through them again. So they include zone 2 training. I put the link for that video down below. And then there is changing the rolling resistance by changing the tires using a race tire. That helps dramatically. Glycogen reloading immediately post workouts when you're training for the event. That will ensure that you can keep training without feeling fatigued or tired, both physically and psychologically. And then last, there is the weight loss, which I'm going to make another video about because I think it requires a little bit more attention. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.